Hey everybody, Tony D and Little Joan here with a hot take on leaving California. Now this is I guess you call it an op-ed in WND, pretty right-wing website, but it's from Ben Shapiro, pretty right-wing himself, but it's his personal story about why he and his family are moving out of California. Um, according to the article, he grew up in California. They moved there 4 decades ago. He was born in St. Joseph's in Burbank. He attended elementary school in Edison Elementary, went to college at UCLA. He thinks it's a beautiful state. The climate's incredible. Scenery is amazing. People are generally warm. There's an enormous amount to do. But we're leaving all the benefits of California. We're leaving because all the benefits of California have steadily eroded, right, Ben? And then suddenly collapsed. When moving, I'm just going through the highlights here. When my family moved to North Hollywood, I was 11. We lived in a safe, clean suburb. Yes, Los Angeles had serious crime and homelessness problems, but those were problems relegated to pockets of the city. Problems that, with good governance, we thought could eventually be healed. Instead, the government allowed those problems to metastasize. As of 2011, Los Angeles County counted less than 40,000 homeless. As of 2020, that number has skyrocketed to 66,000. Wow. Suburban areas have become sites of homeless encampments. Really? Every city underpass hosts a tent city. The city, in its kindness, has put out porta potties to reduce the possibility of the beer virus spread. Police are forbidden in most cases from either moving transients or even moving their garbage. Nearly every public space in Los Angeles has become a repository for open waste, needles, and trash. Wow. The most beautiful areas of Los Angeles, from Santa Monica Beach to my suburb, have become wrecks. My children have personally witnessed drug use, public urination, and public nudity. Looters were allowed to free reign in the middle of the city during the Black Lives Matter riots. Rodeo Drive was closed at 1 p.m. and citizens were curfewed at 6 p.m. Yeah, it's not good. Um, I have a lot of friends who live out there. So far, they're staying. None of them have come back, but they've seen stuff. A few people got out. I mean, I always thought Los Angeles had a lot of other problems too. I mean, they were just, Los Angeles in general is just a weird town to me. It's very spread out, and its people are. Everybody wants to be in show business, and there's this desperation that's just rife in the city, which is really annoying and weird. So on top of that, with the beer virus and the homelessness and all that's happened over the last few years, it just seems to be spiraling out of control. Ben continues, to combat these trends, local and state governments have gamed the statistics, reclassifying offenses and letting prisoners go free. Meanwhile, the police have become targets for public ire. In July, the city of Los Angeles slashed police funding, cutting its force to its lowest levels in over a decade. Yeah, not a good time for that. At the same time, taxes have risen. California's top marginal income rate is now 13.3%. Legislatures want to raise it to 16.8%. Wow. California is also home to a 7.25 sales tax, a 50-cent gas tax. Yeah, we're heading there in New Jersey. And a bevy of other taxes that drain the wallet and burden business. California has the worst regulatory climate in America, according to CEO Magazine's survey of 650 CEOs. The public sector unions essentially make public policy, running up the debt while providing fewer and fewer actual services. California's public education system is a massive failure, and even its once great colleges are now burdened by the stupidities of political correctness, including an unwillingness to use standardized testing. And still, the state legislature is dominated by Democrats. Same here in New Jersey, for the most part. California is not on a trajectory towards recovery. It's on a trajectory towards oblivion. Taxpayers are moving out, now including my family and my company. 2019, before the pandemic, the widespread rioting and looting, out-migration jumped 38%, rising for the 7th straight year. That number will increase again this year. I want my kids to grow up safe. I want them to grow up in a community with a future, with more freedom and safety that I grew up with. California makes that impossible. So goodbye, Golden State. Thanks for the memories. Yeah, I don't blame him for leaving. I mean, uh, I think I might have to someday leave New Jersey. It's just gotten so expensive to live here. And I really don't want to live in New Jersey. I'm South Jersey guy to the core. I want to, I want to stay here to the bitter end, but that may be impossible for me because I'm poor. And one of the reasons it's good to be in South Jersey is, by Jersey standards, it's the cheaper area to live. The further south you go, tends to be cheaper. Unless you get towards the beach. It's more rural, it's nicer, but we have a governor right now he's making everything very, very expensive. I live in a town of about 1,900 people, and one of the things we had a main street that was pretty dilapidated, and we were lucky that two brothers came in and really rebuilt all of Main Street here, and it looked great, and they opened a bodega with high-end food, and they wanted to open a little Italian bistro, but it was 200 square feet short of being just big enough for the kitchen, and the state wouldn't give them an exception, so they couldn't open it. And if they said, well, we could have expanded the kitchen, but then we wouldn't have enough tables to make it profitable. And businesses have to be profitable. They spent a ton of money revitalizing our Main Street. They got to be able to make that back. And the state said no. So they said, okay. And they just turned the place into like a rental property. And it's been an ice cream parlor. I think it was something else. And now it's a sort of an arty place where mostly women go to make little art projects. It's a nice store, but Italian bistro would have been kick ass. And no offense to the arty place, but I think the Italian bistro probably would have brought in a little more money. I mean, it would have been open almost every day or at least every night. It would have employed more people. Essentially, as a rental space, most of Main Street's just sort of hanging on. And now with the beer virus, there's a lot of things that's all messed up. And the bodega, it changed hands, and now it's gone, and now it's being turned into a karate studio for kids, and and that was supposed to open right during March during the beer virus, and now that's been delayed, and who knows if it'll ever open. So it's these little things that really jam up small business owners, and we're just a little town. Let us do what we want. We're not hurting anybody. It's not going to hurt anybody to let us open things and maybe just tweak the rules a little bit. But that's the problem with centralized rules. Even in a state that's relatively small like New Jersey, it's all centralized in the state government. And South Jersey is very different from North Jersey. North Jersey is like Sopranos territory. Everything's built up. Everything's super expensive. It's like New York. Down here, it's more rural. It's more like Delaware. Delaware has no state tax. It's relatively cheap to live there. Maybe that's where I'll move. But it's just a shame that, Democrats just can't get on board with taking a few economics class. Could have prevented this whole thing, and you could have figured out California. And California is the 6th largest economy in the world, I think. You really should be doing better, California.